Hey everybody, it's your old buddy Mr. Jones here again, ready to talk to you about broadcast news terms vocabulary part 2. So let's get straight to it, all right? And we'll start the slideshow from the start. Your first word is lead story. Now that's the most important story in a newscast. It leads off the newscast at the very top or beginning of the show. The lead story in this newscast that you're going to see at this link takes place at 55 seconds after the anchor gives us a teaser about all the stories that will be coming up in the newscast. And we'll talk about teaser here in just a minute. Let's take a look at this if we can get the ad over with. Okay. Nice little car
has
ad.
been canceled.
Okay. These things are hard to avoid in today's world, right?
Tonight, the rising tensions.
Now we're going to move to, she does a little teaser, and we'll talk about what that is in a minute, but I want to show you the intro first. Here we go.
Good evening, I'm Kristen Welker in
I'm sorry,
for Lester.
lead story.
We begin tonight with the flashpoints in American cities. Largely peaceful protests, but some marred by violence. Now all of it at the center of the...
Okay, you see she said, good evening, my name is whatever her name is, and then she started getting into the story. It's the lead story because it's the first story and the most important story. All right, moving on to the next word, and that is teaser. A teaser is when a news anchor gives you a preview of what stories you can expect to see within a newscast. Let's watch the same link that we were watching before, and at the very top or beginning of the newscast, the anchor will tell us what to expect, and she'll do a voiceover while B-roll from the stories plays simultaneously. And you'll see what I'm talking here. She's just teasing us, telling us
tonight,
what's coming up.
The rising tensions in America, now at the heart of the 2020 race. In Portland, new details on the Trump supporter killed there, while the candidates for president spar over who is to blame. Joe Biden back on the campaign trail with his strongest words yet. And our new series, a reality check on violence in American cities, what the statistics show. Hundreds of thousands desperate, still without power amid the destruction from Hurricane Laura. How long will they have to wait? The U.S. surpassing 6 million coronavirus cases, outbreaks exploding on college campuses, the COVID SWAT team being deployed to one university. The major change at the major airlines, getting rid of something most travelers can't stand. And caught on camera, a whale of a tale and the 10-year-old with a front row seat.
This is NBC Nightly News with Lester Holt.
So you see, she kind of teased us, telling us everything that was going to be coming up in the newscast. That is the teaser. All right, moving on to the next word, we got out cue. Out cue is the signal indicating the end of one piece of the newscast and the start of another. Often this refers to the words spoken by a reporter at the end of their stand-up, which we'll talk about in a minute, such as, I'm Brent Jones reporting for Pats TV. Now I want you to notice the out cue from the reporter in this clip that we're going to watch at 6 minutes and 47 seconds in. When he says, experts note the crime rate is still much lower than it was 30 years ago. Kristen, that's his out cue. Let's see what he does here.
Tonight,
right,
the rising tension.
6:47. I'll move it over to that. We'll start right about, whoops, too far. Okay, here we go. We'll start
and
right
while
about
homicides are up nationwide, the actual violent crime rate is down. And experts note the crime rate is still much lower than it was 30 years ago. Kristen?
Tom Costello, thank you.
All right, so you see he finished up his stand-up with his out cue, which was a signal for her that the newscast was coming back to her. All right, so that is an out cue. Let's move on to the next word, which is stand-up. We just saw him doing a stand-up. We're going to watch him again. That's when a reporter is on camera, either introducing a story at the beginning, discussing an important element of the story somewhere in the middle, or wrapping up a story near the end. In this same clip, the reporter does a stand-up at 6:31. You just saw his part of his stand-up, but we're going to watch a little bit more. You'll see him coming out of the story, main part of the story, and going into the stand-up in this.
The economic devastation.
Sorry.
You have just the stress of the disease itself. Then you have those communities that are at the highest risk being affected by COVID, and you're going to see an explosion.
Importantly, Operation Legend,
This
not
is
to
the
be
stand-up.
confused with that effort to send agents to protest zones around the country. And while homicides are up nationwide, the actual violent crime rate is down. And experts note the crime rate is still much lower than it was 30 years ago. Kristen?
Tom Costello, thank you.
All right, we saw our buddy Tom there doing his stand-up and then his out cue to let the anchor know that he was coming back to him. Stand up, reporter on camera talking about their story. Okay, let's see what's next. Edit. The process of manipulating and rearranging video shots to create a new work. Editing is usually considered to be one part of the post-production process. Other post-production tasks include titling, color correction, sound mixing, etc., applying color correction, filters, and other enhancements. Every time you see the video change in any way, the sound change, a new graphic appears, anything like that, anytime there's a change in what you see or hear, that's due to someone who has done an edit. All right, within the first 20 seconds of this video, within the first 20 seconds of this video that we're going to watch at this link, you're going to see, oh gosh, let me try to get to the right one. There we go. You're going to see video changes, graphics appear, sound changes, a voice happens. All of these are edits. Let's watch it. You may recognize this because this is the video of this past Friday night in that epic game. You see the graphics coming on, that's an edit. These graphics right here, these words are edited in. Then more words here. And the video is going to change here in just a minute.
All right, first and goal. Here's a
Here's the
handoff.
sound
to Marcus
voiceover.
once again. Marcus takes
Edit.
it across the goal line. Touchdown, Patriots.
Yeah, baby. Hillcrest said, "You got a good run game, County High, but we scored a touchdown. You did not."
Crawford takes
Here's
a
another
snap and he
edit to
fumbles
another
it again.
play.
Let's see if he can get up.
And you can watch that at the link if you want to, the whole highlight package of that epic game from this past Friday night. But that's editing, or that is what an edit is. Okay, let's move on to the next word, and that's beat. Beat refers to a certain topic that a reporter covers regularly. In the news, someone might be assigned to the crime beat and cover stories about crime. Someone else might be assigned to the baseball beat and cover stories about baseball. Sorry for the typo there. But anyway, you get the picture. A beat is when someone is assigned to a certain topic and they cover it regularly. Producer. A news producer is the person who takes all the elements that have been gathered throughout the day, packages, voiceovers, copy, stories, graphics, etc., and constructs a newscast. The producer then begins to build a newscast, adding stories and elements that will give a flow to the program. They just put it all together and have the overall vision. Editor. Editors transform raw footage filmed on site and or in studio, along with any B-roll, and turn a newscast or show into a polished final product for broadcast. Two-column script. Now this is very important, and we'll do a whole unit on two-column scripts. Well, maybe not a unit, but we'll have a lot of practice with two-column scripts, and this will be very important for us to use throughout the year as we develop our own packages, our own stories. A two-column script is a script designed to plan what the viewing audience will see and hear during a story or package. The video is described on the left, and the audio is described on the right. And you'll see that everything that is described goes along with each other. For example, right here, CU stands for close-up. Stand up of me doing intro in front of Hillcrest main entrance. And there's graphics there that say, Me Mearson, Pat's TV reporter. While we're seeing Me Mearson do the stand-up, VO stands for voiceover. This is what the audience will hear. This is what they see. This is what they hear. They hear him saying, adjusting to life as an exchange student is not an easy thing to do, but Mark Schwarzenbacher is adjusting little by little. Then it edits to a medium shot of a Mark interview, Mark Schwarzenbacher in his interview. That's what we see, and we hear Mark talking about how hard it was to make friends at first. You see all these things are just showing what's happening. Oh, sorry about that. What's happening, what you're seeing, and what you're hearing at the same time. Okay, so that is all of the broadcast vocabulary, broadcast terms, broadcast news terms, part 2. Thanks for joining me. I'll see you soon, hopefully with a better seeing eye.